Hello, welcome to episode 127 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. 1979's Manhattan, directed by Woody Allen, written by Woody Allen, and starring Woody Allen. I filmed this video a couple of days ago after I'd watched the film, and it was a mess. It was a complete mess. I was really not happy with it, so I'm sitting down to re-record this and kind of make this a video two halves. So I'm going to talk about the film, and then I'm going to talk about Woody Allen. Alright. Okay, so Manhattan, the film. It's shot in black and white, gorgeous photography. It just looks stunning, you know, like the widescreen. I mean, just the guy who did the cinematography for this was brilliant, whoever it was. I haven't looked up the name. And it's really a love letter to the city of New York, or the city of Manhattan, New York City. You know, the opening sequence has Woody Allen narrating the start of a story that he's writing, and you have all these shots of Manhattan, and he's talking about Manhattan, and it's got this beautiful music over it. It's a stunning opening sequence, and then we follow him as the main character and his group of friends, and there are kind of relationships going on, and there kind of becomes not so much a love triangle as a love quadrant. Between Woody Allen, there's Diane Keaton, his ex-wife is played by Meryl Streep, and he has a young son. I felt like that storyline was kind of... It didn't focus on his son enough. I don't feel like him being this this father who doesn't get to spend much time with his kid. I felt like that was a part of the story that would surely be a bigger part of his life. I don't know, maybe that speaks to his character in the film. Though there certainly is some humour to be had out of the fact that his ex-wife in the film, Meryl Streep, left him for another woman, and there's this whole story of how he tried to run her over, the other woman. There's a lot of, I mean, the humour in this film, it's funny, it's a funny film, and the dialogue is snappy and witty and has that kind of, that feeling of spontaneity to it that you often get in real life, and so it feels very naturalistic, even though it's very written and very Woody Allen-esque in terms of the dialogue. And of course he's the star of the show, and he's the centerpiece of everything that's going on, and you know, the people that he is pursuing romantically. Now his character in the film is a writer, but he also is see, it's tough to separate Woody Allen from this film. It really is, because I had no idea about the plot of this film, and I was really surprised. I was really surprised because in the film, his character, who is in his mid-40s, as Woody Allen was at the time of making this in the late 1970s, is dating a 17-year-old girl. I couldn't process this to begin with. I was like, really? He's dating a 17-year-old girl in the film? And they talk about how crazy it is and stuff, and he makes a joke about how he's old enough to be older than her father, and it's just starts to kind of get a bit uncomfortable. And this young actress who played the girl, Tracy, was great in the film. I love the vulnerability that she showed. I'll keep that one in. You can have it for free. I love the vulnerability that she showed, and the rawness of her performance. It just felt very natural and real, and I just thought it was great. And she was nominated for an Oscar for the film. She was 16 when she made this, and throughout the film she's with Woody Allen, and you see them kind of hanging out together, you know, lying in bed watching a movie, things like that, and they talk about their sex life, you know, and that they have sex, but we don't see any of that. And I thought, well, that's at least tastefully done, you know. I mean, it's an older man, younger girl, it does happen. And then we have a scene where they're in this cart, they're kind of getting taken in a carriage through Central Park, and he leans over and starts kissing her, and I'm talking tongue. And that's just when it just started to get really uncomfortable to me. And I guess I can't make this a video two halves. I have to let this inform my enjoyment of the film. For me, it kind of spoiled it, because for me there was no need for that kissing scene to be in there, and in my mind the only reason it was there was for Woody Allen to be able to snog a 16-year-old girl. Again, the actress was 16 at the time of making this, and that is just not right, you know. And I was saying in my previous video, like, I know that there's allegations towards Woody Allen, things like that. I don't know all the details, so there's no point in me going into it. So I thought, right, let's look into the details. So I did my research, I looked into it, and I didn't like what I found. I really didn't like what I found. And I'd known, I almost felt a bit ashamed. I'd known about certain bits, but I'd never really, you know, looked into it. And again, there's a lot of things like this where you can say, well, do you really know all the facts? It's just people saying this, he said, she said. Well, his daughter spoke out and publicly made a statement that is bone chilling if you haven't read it. And I can't refute that. You know, I mean, there are actors who work with Woody Allen today, and they defend working with him by saying, well, it's a family issue. You know, who knows what really happened? You know, and Alec Baldwin was getting really angry with people saying, like, who are you to kind of judge someone else's family and their issues and stuff? And it's like, well, when the daughter comes out and writes something like that and wants it to be publicly known what happened to her, can't really swipe that under the carpet, which it seems like a lot of people have. And for me, you know, I don't really have enough time in my life to be worrying about this and letting it kind of affect me and stuff. I mean, it's terrible what happened, but it certainly informs the way I feel about Woody Allen's films. And again, his daughter wrote this article, and at the end of it she said, now tell me, what's your favourite Woody Allen movie? And it's just like, it really shines a light on things, it really does. I mean, Manhattan is a fantastic film. It's great, it's brilliant, it's, you know, the dialogue is memorable, there's some great moments in terms of the cinematography, the famous shot of him and Diane Keaton sitting on the bench looking up to the bridge. I mean, the film looks gorgeous, and it's very entertaining and funny. But at the end of it, you have a 45-year-old man pleading in the film a 17-year-old girl not to go off to, you know, to study and go off and kind of live her life, to stay with him. And it's this very pathetic kind of moment at the end, and it just really didn't seem to fit with me, you know. I mean, I kind of liked how the character that he was playing was showing how much of a selfish dick he was, but I didn't enjoy how our main character does this really kind of selfish thing at the end when he realizes what he might have got. And then when you think about what he realizes what he might have got, it's kind of wrong to begin with, because he's dating this 17-year-old girl. So I don't know. Obviously Woody Allen has a thing for younger women, much younger as well, and it doesn't really, I mean, how could that sit well with anyone? And I just had no idea that it was such a big part of this film, you know. And part of it is like, it just seems like this ultimate wish fulfillment, you know. He's got this very pretty young underage, I mean, I don't know what the age of consent was in America at the time, what it is now, but you know, this, for me, underage girl who he's with in the film, and then Meryl Streep is his ex-wife, and then Diane Keaton is falling for him because he's so funny and so good in bed, and it's just kind of like, it's like wish fulfillment in its most ultimate form. And you know, I can't lie, I'll watch more Woody Allen films. I want to see more of them. I probably will revisit Annie Hall, because I think that's a great film. But there's something about this one that just, I don't know. I think I probably would watch it again just to see, but it's an interesting discussion. How far do you take it? How much do you let these things affect the way you view art? Can you class it as art when the person creating it has done something that's so horrible? You know, there's films in the book that I'm going to have to watch, like Chinatown, directed by Roman Polanski, who was convicted of, you know, sleeping with a 13-year-old girl. There is Last Tango in Paris, the controversy that has blown up over that over the past couple of weeks. You know, I'm going to watch these films, but it's a tough kind of subject. How do you approach it? How do you process it? How do you sit on it? I know people who will never watch a Woody Allen film, and I'm totally behind that. I really am. And I do feel kind of, again, ashamed that I'm going to watch more of his films. I mean, there's more in the book, but I don't know. Again, you can never really know all the facts. But reading that kind of statement by his daughter, and I even read something that his son wrote as well, where he stands by his sister's claims, it's really kind of horrible. And I didn't want to make this video full of that stuff. I didn't want to let this this series, which is, you know, about watching films and talking about them, just a very simple thing that I love to do. But it's kind of, it had to get dragged down by this stuff, because I couldn't avoid it when I watched the film, and it really made me think, right, okay, that kissing scene, and she was 16 at the time, I do not like that, I do not agree with that, and I need to look into this. And so I did, and it is really, it's been a sobering wake-up call to Woody Allen, unfortunately, for me, because I do love quite a few of his films, particularly, you know, Annie Hall, Midnight in Paris, and I don't know how I feel about them now, but please let me know your thoughts down below. Be nice, be, you know, considerate and adult with your comments. I would like to hear how you feel about this kind of thing, whether you can separate the art from the artist in these cases, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it filters through to everything. You know, the wrestler, the WWF wrestler, Chris Benoit, you know, murdered his wife and son and killed himself. Some people can never watch his wrestling matches anymore because of what he did. Some have no problem going back and watching them because that happened before. And I don't know, I mean, there's so many variables, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Also your thoughts on the film Manhattan. Is it a film you should see before you die? As a film, I think it is. I really do. But I don't think I would recommend it to anyone. Because of its content, and again, it's nothing shocking, and you know, and I read that the young actress who was in this film, 16 at the time, as soon as she hit 18, Woody Allen said, "Do you want to come to Paris with me?" And she was like, "No, I don't." And it's like, wow, he obviously had his eyes on her, and again, chilling stuff. So, what is my final verdict? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I'm going to kind of stick to my gut on this one because it cuts too close to the bone. And you could argue that it doesn't need to cut too close to the bone. What he did is what he did, and that should apply to everything he made. And you know, I totally would agree with that. And I don't know where I stand on it right now. So it is what it is. And this is basically as bad and as rambly as the last video was. Only I'm now a bit more informed on the things that he has apparently, again, allegedly done. Which for me certainly colour watching a film like Manhattan. Which is devoid of colour, but you know, it just, I don't know. Leave your thoughts down below. I'd like to get a bit of a dialogue going here, again, hopefully a more adult kind of dialogue, and don't go attacking people for their views on this if they have them, because I think that we should just consider each other's opinions on it, and for me, like I said, I still really don't quite know what to think, only that I would say that it's not a film you should see before you die. Even though it's a great film, I can't separate the two at this point in time. So there we go. Thank you for watching, and hopefully the next video will be a lot more upbeat, and I'll see you in that one.